We are going to start our next project simply by painting a piece of paper for our background. What we're using is tempera paints. You can use any paints you have at home if you're working from home with us. But these tempera paints are kind of like watercolors. You do have to add water to get them to work. And then we are going to paint all the way across our paper in a horizontal motion. So I'll go back and forth and back and forth. I can add more water, swirl, and get more paint onto my brush. So when I paint, I flip my brush backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and I'm only going in one direction, which is across my page. I'm not making swirls, I'm not going up and down, I'm just going back and forth in one direction. If I want to switch colors, I can. I can paint my color up into the other color to make them mix. I am the artist. I get to decide how I want my artwork to look. So I'm going to paint this entire paper with that back and forth motion. Now I'm going to get a white piece of paper, a black piece of paper, an orange piece of paper, a blue crayon, a white crayon, and a Sharpie. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my white piece of paper in half. We're going to be using these papers to create a penguin. On my black piece of paper with my white crayon, I'm going to draw a big upside down letter U. Make it really big. Go almost to the top of the paper, but not quite. So a big upside down U. Then I can cut that out. Now I'm going to take my leftover black paper and fold it in half. I'm going to draw a D or a curve around the edge of my paper, and then I'm going to cut that out. When I do that, I've cut out 2 wings for my penguin. After I cut out my 2 wings for my penguin, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue them down. Next, I'm going to take my white paper that I've folded in half and I'm going to unfold it. On one side, I'm going to use my blue crayon to draw another big upside down U. It's going to be smaller than the first one I did. This is going to turn into my penguin's belly. I'm going to cut this out and glue it down. Now, on top of where my curve was, I'm going to use this leftover paper up here to create some eyes for my penguin. I can choose any eyes that I would like, and I'm going to draw them with my black marker. Then I will cut them out and glue them down. I'm going to save the rest of my white paper for later. Now I'm going to take my orange paper, and I'm going to use my orange paper to create a beak and feet for my bird. I can draw a triangle shape for the beak, and I can make a curve and a wiggly line to make feet. Then I'll cut them out and glue them down. Now I'm going to make an ice float for my penguin to stand on. So using my leftover piece of white paper, I'm going to grab my blue crayon and I'm going to make an organic shape. An organic shape is a shape that doesn't have any sharp edges. So I'm going to make a shape out of wiggly lines. I'm going to make it kind of like a really squashed circle that's got wiggles. So any shape like that will work. Then on the edges, I'm going to make a straight line down and another straight line down. Then I'm going to make this same line again, but down at the bottom of my straight lines. Then I can add a couple of lines. So this is the edge of my ice float. This helps it to look three-dimensional. Then I will cut it out and I will glue my penguin on top of it. Now we're going to take our penguin and our colorful background that we painted, and we're going to put them together. So I'm going to be gluing my penguin to the very bottom part of my paper. I want him to line up with the bottom edge of my paper. I want to have some space on top, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all over the back of my penguin. Now I always glue on the smaller piece of paper, which today is our penguin. So I'll put my glue on my penguin, and then I'll flip him over and I'll give him a nice good press. I'm going to press him down really firmly so that he gets good and stuck to my colorful background paper. Now I'm going to take some scrap paper and I'm going to give my penguin some clothes because it's chilly. He might need a hat, a scarf, maybe even some mittens. It's up to you what you add to your penguin, but instead of drawing it, we're going to be using scrap paper to cut them out. So I can use a big oval and make him a hat. I can use long rectangles to make him scarves, and I can cut up little pieces to decorate and make him as creative as I can.